The facility was quiet. Cold lights blinked from the ceiling, and machines hummed in the background. Inside a building hidden far below the earth, hundreds of people worked, everyday scientists, engineers, guards. They came in and out with cards, codes, and weapons. But there was one man no one noticed. He wore gray clothes, old shoes. He moved slowly, with a mop in his hand and silence in his steps. He was the janitor. Every day, he cleaned the floors. He walked from room to room, hall to hall, sweeping, wiping, and emptying trash bins. He never spoke. He never smiled. He was always alone. Most people didn't even know his name. They called him Ghost. Morning routine at 6 a.m. He entered the facility like always. Security didn't stop him. His ID card worked without delay. Cameras didn't follow him. He walked through the gates like a shadow in the storage room. He picked up his tools, a mop, a bucket, gloves. He wore a cap low over his face. His name tag only said, E. Holt. He filled the bucket with water and began his job. His first stop was Corridor 3B. This hallway had no windows, only cold gray walls and white lights above. As he moved, he looked straight ahead. Never looked up. Never looked back. But something strange happened. As he passed by a security monitor. The screen glitched. Just for a second. It showed a red message. Kill code primed. Then the screen returned to normal. The janitor didn't stop. He didn't react. But his left hand, holding the mop, twitched just a little. Invisible man. He entered Lab 5, where 3 scientists worked. They didn't look at him. They were talking about AI simulations and test subjects. One of them accidentally dropped a paper. The janitor bent down, picked it up, placed it on the table, and kept moving. Not one of them said thank you. It was always like that. He was part of the background. No one remembered. When he joined. No one asked where he lived. No one cared. That was perfect. That was the plan. Something he avoids later that afternoon. The janitor came near Sector 9. This part of the building was sealed. Guards stood at the door with weapons. Red lights blinked on the panel next to the door. The janitor walked close. Then he stopped. He looked at the door. Only for a moment. Something inside him stirred. A memory? A warning? A pain in the head? He touched the side of his temple. A voice echoed in his mind. Not yet. He turned away and walked down the opposite hall. The guards didn't even glance at him. The engineers. Curiosity in a room nearby. A young systems engineer named Daniel Knox was reviewing logs. He was new to the job, only 23 years old, and loved solving puzzles. That day he saw something strange. The janitor's ID code. E.Holt_017 had accessed the biometric lab 2 nights ago. But janitors weren't allowed there. He checked again. The system showed access granted. Knox frowned. He opened older logs. Access was also recorded last week. And the week before, he sent a report to his supervisor. But there was no reply. That night, Knox went back to the logs. He found security camera footage. He watched the janitor walk in, look directly at the camera, and then the screen glitched. Stated. When it came back, the janitor was gone. Dream or memory? At night, the janitor slept in a small room below level 4. It wasn't meant for sleeping, but no one cared. As he lay on the floor, his eyes closed, but he didn't rest out inside his mind. Something was moving. Flashes of war, men screaming, machines exploding, child crying, a woman's voice. Elias. His body shook. A strange sound came from his throat. He opened his eyes. His hand reached for something under his shirt. A tattoo. No, not a tattoo. A mark, a code, glowing faint red. He stared at it. Then covered it. Went back to sleep. The missing engineer next morning. Knox didn't show up for work. His desk was empty. His computer was locked. His supervisor said he quit. Left a message last night. But his friends knew something was wrong. He never missed a day. Never said anything about leaving. No one found him again. The sweep, that same day. The janitor was back. Floor clean. Eyes quiet. But today, he walked slower. His steps were heavy. He passed by a glass wall. Behind it, a machine moved, something large, hidden by shadows. It turned slightly, almost like it sensed him. The janitor stopped, for the first time. He stared. The machine stopped moving. His hand touched the glass, and again his mark glowed. Red. Then dash, an alarm. Beep, beep. The janitor turned away and walked fast. The secret camera elsewhere. Deep in the building, a man watched the footage. He wore a suit. Face cold. He paused the video, zoomed in on the janitor's face, then on the mark. Glowing on his arm. He whispered, "He's waking up." Another voice answered on the speaker. "Impossible. He was shut down 20 years ago." The man replied, "Then why is the kill code responding?" Final scene, end of part 1. That night, the janitor returned to the same hallway where the glitch happened. This time, he stopped in front of the monitor. He looked directly at it. The screen glitched again. Red text appeared. HFY 07 standby. He didn't blink. He raised his hand, wrote something in the dust on the wall. A symbol. 3 circles. 1 line through. All. Then he whispered, very quietly, "Soon." He walked away. The camera kept recording. But the screen turned black. Only the symbol remained. Nightfall. The underground facility never truly slept. Lights stayed on. Machines never stopped. But the silence at night was different. The footsteps were fewer. The halls felt colder. And in the darkness of level 3, someone moved quickly. Daniel. Knox, the young engineer, walked fast, checking behind him. He held a small data drive in his hand. His heart beat fast. Something was wrong. He knew it. Last night, he had uncovered something impossible. The janitor, E. Holt, had access levels that even some directors didn't have. Why? And why did his code connect to a program called HFY Kill Code Deep ROT1? Last look. Daniel entered a locked maintenance room. He placed his drive into a hidden port. The screen blinked. He typed, "Subject, E. Holt, code HFY 07. Status: active, last access, Sector 9 red zone, unknown command, kill code equals primed." Daniel stared at the words. "This can't be real," he whispered, but it was. He printed 1 paper copy and hid it inside his boot. Then he took out his phone and started recording a voice message. "If someone finds this, the janitor is not who we think he is." He suddenly... Lights blinked off. Total blackness. Daniel turned. A soft metallic sound. Breathing. "Hello?" he said. No answer. Just a shadow moving. Silence forever. Next morning, the security team found the door open. The room was empty. No Daniel. No drive. No camera footage. Only one thing was found. A handprint in dust on the wall. It wasn't Daniel's. Unseen. Eyes in another room, far above. The man in the suit watched everything. He wore black gloves and stood still like a statue. Screens around him showed every corner of the facility. He watched the janitor. Always the janitor. Still following his routine, he said. Still sweeping floors. Still pretending. He turned to a woman beside him, Agent Sarah Mallon, sharp eyes. Quiet voice. "He's becoming aware," the man said. "He's seeing past the mask." Sarah replied, "Then why don't we take him out now?" The man turned. "Because he's the key." He pointed to the screen. "And the code is still buried deep. We need him alive until it finishes unlocking." The red room. That day, the janitor walked past Sector 9 again. Same hallway, same guards, same heavy door. But today, he paused. His mop stopped mid-swipe. He stared at the door for a full minute. The guards noticed this time. "Hey, keep moving," one said. The janitor blinked. nodded slowly, then turned away. But as he left, he whispered, "You locked me in once." The guards didn't hear, but the door did. Behind it, inside the red room, machines started humming. The flashback that night. A janitor had another dream, but this time it was clear. He was not Elias Holt, not a janitor. He was lying on a metal table. People in white coats stood over him. A voice said, "We built him from zero, half flesh, half code." Another voice replied, "He is subject HFY 07, designed to hide among them until needed." He screamed in the dream, but no sound came out. Then, his eyes opened. He was back in the dark room, alone, breathing heavy. He looked at his hand. It was shaking. He opened his drawer. Inside, a metal chip, hidden under wires. He didn't remember putting it there, but it was his. The paper elsewhere. A young female worker was cleaning Daniel Knox's desk. She found a piece of paper inside his old boot. She looked at it. There were words. Kill code equals primed. Subject HFY 07 equals janitor. Access to read zone. She frowned. Took the paper to her boss. The boss read it, then smiled calmly. He walked to the shredder and destroyed the paper. "Knox was never here," he said. "Forget this." The girl looked scared. She nodded. But that night, she copied the words from memory, just in case. The device. The next morning, Elias Holt, the janitor, opened the storage room. He found a small black case that wasn't there before. No name, no ID. He looked around. No cameras pointing here. He opened the box. Inside, a small disc, marked with the symbol he saw in his dream, 3 circles and a line. He touched it. His vision blurred. Suddenly, code ran through his mind. Numbers, names, images. A memory returned. A mission. A woman's face. A gun. In his hand. Then, kill. Code activated in 72 hours. He fell backward, shaking, sweat on his forehead. But his expression changed. No longer confused. Now focused. Sierra single quotes. Agent Sierra, watch the latest footage. She saw Elias fall, saw the disc. She turned to the man in the suit. "He's not asleep anymore," she said. The man nodded. "No, he's waking up, but it's not full yet." "Then let me stop him," she said. "Now, before it's too late." "No," the man said. "He's not the threat. He is the weapon." The end of routine that evening. Elias cleaned Sector 3 as usual, but this time, he walked differently. He looked into every camera. He moved with purpose. He stared at people who had never looked at him before, and they noticed. A guard whispered, "Wasn't he just sweeping last year?" Another replied, "I thought he retired." "Wait, how long has he been here?" No one knew. They checked records. They found an entry from 17 years ago. Same ID, same face. No aging. Impossible. Final scene. End of part 2. 11:59 p.m. Elias stood in the center of the server hall. No one saw him go in. He placed the disk into a hidden port behind a wall panel. The screen lit up. Access granted. HFY 07. Code unlocking. 62% complete. Final activation. Pending. He stood still. Lights blinked around him. His hand glowed faint red. He whispered, "I remember now." Then he smiled for the first time. And said, "You made me a janitor to hide a soldier." He turned and walked away, but behind him, the system whispered back, "Soldier. Assassin. Savior." Then, kill code countdown. 71 hours, 59 minutes. A strange morning. The underground facility looked the same. Bright lights, silent halls. Guards walking past with scanners and serious eyes. But one thing was different. The janitor was missing. For the first time in 17 years. Elias Holt didn't show up for his shift. No one said anything out loud. But whispers started. Did he quit? Did someone fire him? Wasn't he here just yesterday? No one knew. But the truth was simple. He didn't disappear. He woke up. Flash memory. Elias stood alone in a hidden corridor. No one came here. Dust lay thick on the walls. Old machines, dead screens, forgotten doors. In front of him was a metal wall. He placed his hand on it. A click. The wall shifted open, revealing a sealed chamber. Inside, silence, darkness, and an old computer screen that suddenly blinked to life. "Welcome back, HFY 07. Elias didn't flinch. He stepped inside. Who he was. The screen showed images, documents, faces. Names he hadn't heard in decades. Project HFY, Human Future Yield Purpose, Long-Term Infiltration, Sleeper Class Bioagents. Status, cancelled, mission incomplete, remaining active units. Then came his name. Name, Elias Holt. Cody name, HFY 07. Objective, infiltrate, hide, wait for kill code. Activation. Elias stared at his own picture, not the janitor, the soldier. Armor. Weapons. Cold eyes. The glitch. Back at command, Agent Sarah Malin sat in front of a blinking console. A warning popped up. Hidden terminal reactivated. Level -6. She stood up. "Sir," she called out to the man in the black suit. "We have a breach." He didn't look surprised. HFY 07 found the memory chamber, he said calmly. Sarah frowned. "You let it happen?" "It had to happen." She didn't understand, but the man added, "Only by remembering who he was can he become what we need." The voice within. Back inside the chamber, Elias placed the black disk into the terminal. The screen glitched. Codes began to flow fast. Lines of red text. Kill code, phase 2 active. Cognitive lock failing, subconscious memories restored. And then, a voice, familiar, female. Soft and sad. "Elias, I'm sorry." He closed his eyes. He saw her, a woman with dark hair. Her name lost in the fog of his mind, but her voice. "You volunteered for this," you said. "If no one else will do it." "I will. You saved thousands." Then silence. Elias opened his eyes. Tears sat at the corner. But his face stayed hard. "I didn't save them," he whispered. "I just forgot them. A friend or a spy?" Later that day, Elias visited a small room in the old sector of the facility. Inside lived Dr. Mira Thorne, a former AI researcher, now working in file restoration. No one spoke to her. People said she was unstable. She wasn't surprised when Elias knocked. She opened the door, saw him, and whispered, "It's time, isn't it?" Elias nodded once. She let him in. Dr. Myra's secret. Myra had worked on Project HFY long ago. She remembered Elias back then, a man full of courage, but also full of pain. She had tried to stop the project. They silenced her, reassigned her, hid her records, but she had saved one thing. She reached under a tile and pulled out an old neurocore chip, Elias's original memory backup. "I thought this would kill you," she said. "But now, I think it may help you remember." Elias took the chip, held it tight. "Why did I agree to this?" he asked quietly. Myra looked at him. "Because you are the only one who could disappear for 20 years and become invisible." New orders at that moment. Back in command, Sarah received a direct message from Central AI. "Operation Lockdown. Prepare extraction team. Subject HFY 07 is aware." Sarah didn't wait. She gathered a team. 10 black suit soldiers, silent, fast-armed. They moved toward Sector -6. Memory shock. Elias plugged the neurocore chip into a small reader Mira had hidden years ago. Instantly, his body jerked. Flashes filled his mind. Fires. Camps. A child with half a face screaming. A man in a lab coat yelling, "Kill him before the code spreads." A white room. A table. Wires in his skull. Elias's voice years ago. "Make me forget. I don't want to remember. Until it's over. Until it's time to end them." He gasped. fell to one knee. Mira held his shoulder. Are you okay? Yes, he said. Now I know what they did. First move, the kill team entered level -6, silent footsteps. Guns raised, but the room was empty. No Elias. No Mira, only the open terminal screen and a message written on the wall in red marker. You forgot who I am. I didn't. One of the agents spoke. He's mobile. He's activated. Sierra clenched her jaw. We just lost control. Transformation that night. Elias walked alone through the emergency tunnels under the facility. His face was calmer. His eyes sharper. He no longer moved like a janitor. He walked like a ghost with purpose. He knew what he had to do. Recover the remaining parts of his memory. Find out who still controls the kill code. And stop them before the final phase activates. He whispered. You trained me to kill. You made me forget. But you forgot one thing. I volunteered. The end of part 3. In the last scene, Elias stands outside a forgotten part of the facility. A locked gate. He touches the panel. It scans his fingerprint, then his eye, then his voice. Elias Holt, HFY 07. The door opens. Inside is a black suit, battle armor. His armor. He steps forward. Slowly, puts his hand on the chest piece. It lights up. Welcome back, Commander. He doesn't smile. He only says, I'm not here to serve. I'm here to finish it. As he walks into the darkness, we hear the final voice from the system. Kill code. Phase 3 begins, now. Darkness above the facility's top levels were silent, but not asleep. Security scanners blinked. Emergency red lights glowed faintly in hallway corners. Every entrance had been sealed. At the main control room, Agent Sierra Malin watched a large screen. HFY 07 is loose. The man in the black suit stood beside her, arms behind his back, calm, cold. We knew this would happen, he said. It's part of the sequence. Sarah turned sharply. You used him. We used him. But now he's not following any sequence. She pointed to the screen. He's hunting. The last armor far beneath, deep in level -9, Elias Holt stood in the shadows of an abandoned weapons lab. The lights flickered overhead. He wore his armor now, matte black, shaped to his body, built for war, but quiet as wind. He moved like a ghost between the walls. Not running. Waiting. In his hand, he held a device. He pressed a button. A voice whispered, Kill code unlock, 77%. Then another whisper, from within him, You were never meant to survive, but you did. A message left behind back in the lab where Elias had taken the neuroquery. Mira Thorne sat alone, typing fast. She uploaded a hidden message into the facility's internal system. He's not your weapon anymore. If you try to destroy him, he will remind you why he was created. Then she vanished. She knew they would come for her too. The Hunters deployed 10 black suit operatives, known only as the Hunters, prepared silently in the armory. No names, no past. Each one had been trained to fight rogue AI, enhanced humans. Both. Now, they were hunting one of their own. Sierra gave the order. He doesn't leave the facility. Terminate on sight. The man in the suit added just 3 words. No body left. Encounter 1, the Hunters moved through the west maintenance corridors, fast, coordinated, silent, infrared scanners, magnetic trackers, heartbeat sensors. Then, static, their signals went dead. Come cut. Signal jammed. Suddenly, the lights exploded. One of the Hunters turned a Kandu. Black figure dropped silently behind him. Too late. Crack. Neck broken. Another turned. His weapon too slow. Elias grabbed the barrel, twisted it, and dropped the man like a stone. 3 gone in under 15 seconds. No bullets fired. Just fear. Echoes in the dark. The remaining Hunters regrouped, eyes scanning every shadow. One whispered, He's not like us. Another said, He remembers what he is. One more tried to speak, then a shadow moved. A wall panel slid open. Gas. Sleep gas, but modified. Fast dash acting. 2 more fell. Systems shut down before alarms could trigger. Only 3 hunters remained, and they were terrified. Hunter versus soldier in the east server room. The last 3 hunters found Elias. He stood in the center, calm, hands at his sides. "We don't want to kill you," one said. "Lies," Elias replied. "You were trained to erase mistakes. That's all I ever was to you, a mistake." One of the hunters fired. Elias dodged like smoke. He moved forward, 1 step, 2 steps. Then a blur. In 10 seconds, it was over. One broke his leg falling. One was unconscious. The last tried to crawl away. Elias knelt beside him. "Tell them," he said. "Tell them the weapon isn't sleeping anymore." Syrah's doubt grows back. At command, Syrah slammed her fist on the desk. "All teams gone." The man in the black suit stayed calm. "We knew they couldn't stop him. They were never meant to." Syrah stared at him. "You sent them to die?" "We needed to measure his response. You're using him again." The man looked at her. "No, I'm setting him free." Syrah's face hardened. "And what happens when he sets us free from existence?" Elias's vision alone again. Elias stood before a sealed vault. Vault 12X. Inside was the original server from Project HFY. He pressed his hand to the door. The voice responded. "Welcome, Commander Elias Holt. Final fragment available for reintegration." The vault opened. Inside, a chair. A memory cradle. He sat. The machine lit up. The final memory. His mind unlocked the last files. A city burning. A girl hiding behind a wall. Soldiers with glowing red eyes, not human. And him, leading a rescue mission. Then betrayal. He was ordered to stand down. To leave civilians behind. He refused. He broke orders. He saved them. And they punished him. They wiped his memory and buried him. As a janitor. Final scene. No more janitor Elias. Stepped out of Vault 12X. Not confused. Not hiding. He was complete. He had no badge now. No mop. No I. Only purpose. He whispered. "You erased the soldier. But you kept the will." Then he walked to a control panel and spoke. "Override, command room lock." Alarms rang. The lights in the command room went dark. And for the first time in 20 years, the facility lost control. Cold silence inside the command room. All lights went dark. The huge glass screens blinked. Data froze mid-flow. The air conditioning stopped. For the first time in years, the entire control center was powerless. Agent Syrah Malin stepped back from the console. Her hand hovered near her sidearm. "What's happening?" she asked. The man in the black suit, still calm, smiled slightly. "He's coming." Lights return. But not alone. The emergency red lights buzzed back on. Slow, dim. Standing at the center of the room. Was Elias Holt, his face half in shadow, wearing full black armor. Blood on one glove. A burn across one side of his helmet. No weapon drawn. But every eye in the room felt like they were staring at a bomb with legs. "Hello," Elias said softly. "Long time." Panic in the room. Guards moved fast. "Guns raised." Syrah shouted. "Hold fire." Elias didn't move. "I'm not here to kill everyone," he said. "Just the ones who built this lie." He turned his eyes to the man in the black suit. "Starting with you." The man behind the curtain. The black-suited man stepped forward. No fear. He even opened his hands. "You remember everything now?" he asked. "Enough," Elias replied. The man nodded. "Good, because there's more to see." The secret history. The man pressed a button on the main screen. A hologram flickered on. Video footage. Date: 22 years ago. A war zone. Soldiers screaming. Civilians running. In the center, Elias Holt leading a rescue unit into fire. But the voice in the footage wasn't Elias. It was Command's voice. HFY 07, abort mission. We do not authorize rescue. Leave the zone now. On the screen, Elias replied, "Negative. I won't leave them to die." Then static dot cut to black dot. "The price of disobedience," the man explained. "That moment, your choice to save lives made you a liability. You were too human, too emotional." Elias's fists clenched. "You said we were built to protect." "You were built to follow," the man corrected. "You broke protocol." He turned to the others in the room. "So we shut him down, reprogrammed. Gave him a harmless life, a mop, a fake ID, a fake world. And we waited. The real plan." Elias's voice turned cold. "You wanted the kill code to reach full activation. You wanted me back," the man smiled. "Because the real war is cunning. And we need a soldier who remembers what it's like to care before he kills." Sira finally stepped forward. "This is all manipulation. We used him like a machine." "What makes you think he'll help you now?" the man chuckled. "Because he doesn't have a choice." The kill code climbed suddenly. Elias's body jerked slightly. A red flash crossed his vision. The room lights flickered. His HUD showed. Kill code. 91%. His voice shifted, deeper for a second. Robotic. Objective. Eliminate. Then it passed. He dropped to one knee, sweating, breathing hard. "They built it into me," he whispered. "Even now. It's trying to control me." Sira makes her choice. Sarah looked at Elias. Then at the guards. Then at the man in the suit, and she made her choice. She pulled her sidearm and aimed it at the black-suited man. Everyone froze. "He's not the weapon," she said. "You are." Civil war begins. The guards hesitated. Two sided with Sira, three raised weapons. At her, the black-suited man gave one nod. "Terminate both." Bullets flew. Elias moved first. He grabbed Sira, flipped a table, and rolled behind cover. Shots echoed. Sparks flew. One guard down. Two others hit the floor, unconscious. Elias moved like a blur, disabling, not killing, face to face in the smoke. Elias found the man trying to escape. He grabbed him by the collar and slammed him into the wall. "What's phase 3? Elias demanded. The man laughed, blood on his lips. "You're phase 3. You've been broadcasting for days. Every second you're active, you're sending out the signal. You're the virus." Elias's eyes widened. Kill code wasn't just for him. It was for others like him, sleeper agents, all over the world. Choice no one wants. "You can shut it down," the man whispered. "But you'll have to die. Your heartbeat is the trigger. As long as you live, the signal stays alive." Sira heard it too. She stepped forward. "There must be another way." The man laughed again. "Not this time." Countdown begins. The main screen blinked again. Kill code, 95%. Activation of global HFY units, pending. Elias looked at his hands. He whispered, "I was built to serve. But I chose to protect." End scene. Not yet. He didn't kill the man. He knocked him out cold, then turned to Sira. "I need to reach the satellite relay. Cut the signal manually." Sira nodded. "I'll go with you." They ran from the command room as explosions rocked. The hallway. Behind them, the man stirred, smiling even in pain. He won't make it in time. The final door. The path to the satellite relay core was not made for humans. It was dark, narrow, hot with energy. Elias and Sira moved fast through broken hallways and metal crawl spaces. Sparks flew from the ceiling. They reached the final blast. "Door," a voice echoed. "Identity confirmed. HFY 07. Access granted." The door opened. What waited behind it wasn't empty. A ghost from the past inside the relay chamber. A single figure stood in the shadows, 7 feet tall, heavy armor, faded markings. Its eyes glowed red. "You're late," it said. Sira stepped back. "What is that?" Elias's voice dropped. HFY 01. The first prototype. The beginning of everything. And now The last line of defense. Brother, against Brother Phi-01, stepped forward, its voice deeper, slower, mechanical but angry. You're the one who broke the silence. The one who turned the signal back on. Elias raised his hands. It wasn't my choice. They used me again. They always used us, HFY01 said. But you obeyed. You became them. I broke free, Elias answered. Just like you did. HFY01's eyes flashed brighter. Then prove it. The fight begins with no warning. HFY01 charged. A steel punch flew toward Elias's head, blocked just in time. Metal slammed metal. Sparks flew. Sira ducked as walls cracked and screens shattered. Elias spun, kicked, then dodged a blast of shock energy from HFY01's core. Every hit shook the room. Not just power, memory as they fought. Elias remembered flashes of training, that of standing beside HFY01 in early missions, calling him brother. We were a team once, Elias said, breathless. Then why did they keep you and bury me? HFY01 shouted. Elias shook his head. Because I disobeyed later. You disobeyed first. FY01 hesitated. A short moment. Too short. Elias used it. Shoulder tackled him into the wall, knocking him to the ground. Sarah's move. Sarah ran to the relay console. She pulled up the interface. It was ancient, hard-coded. I can stop the signal, she yelled. But I need time. Elias nodded, blocking a blow from HFY01. Buy her that time, he told himself. The code was counting down. Kill code, 97%. The truth from the core as Elias and HFY01 fought. The relay system began playing archived footage. Old training logs. One log showed Elias and HFY01 standing side by side, laughing. Human. Another showed scientists whispering, HFY01 is too unstable. Shut him down. Start again. Another voice. What if they all become unstable? Answer. We wipe. We reprogram. We bury. Sira watched. They never wanted protectors. Just control. Brother's last words. HFY01 finally fell to one knee, damaged, breathing heavy, though he didn't need to. Elias stood over him. I didn't want this, Elias said. Neither did I, HFY01 whispered. He handed Elias a core module. It's the master key. It'll unlock the manual override. Why give it to me? HFY01 looked up. Because you're still trying to save them. The signal ends. Almost. Sira took the module, plugged it into the system. A blue light flashed. Kill code disarm. 99%. 99.3%. 99.7%. Elias stepped forward, his vision blurred, his heartbeat slowed. Why is it slowing down? He asked. Sira turned to him, eyes wide. You're the transmitter. When the kill code stops, so do you. A sacrifice waiting. Elias nodded. Calm. Maybe this is the end they wrote for me. No, Sira said, stepping closer. This can't be the only way. Elias smiled, a small one. Then rewrite it. He walked to the center of the relay, laid his hands on the final switch. Activate manual shutdown. System lock. Everything froze. Then. Kill code terminated. All HFY units offline. Signal removed. Transmitter source deceased. Sira screamed, no. A new signal then. The system blinked. Not offline. Alive. Secondary core found. Backup consciousness. Uploading. Sira stared. A soft voice came through the console speaker. Told you I wouldn't go out that easy. Elias's voice. He survived. But changed. The system showed a file. Elias IO1. His mind had uploaded seconds before death. Not a weapon anymore, a presence. I'll watch over them now, Elias's voice said. No more kill codes, no more lies. Sira wiped her eyes. You're still you? Just lighter. he replied. End scene. A new dawn outside for the first time in decades, the facility. Doors opened. Light poured in. HFY-01, weak but alive, walked with Sierra out of the core. She carried the data drive, Elias's mind, somewhere far above. Governments were watching, and afraid. Because now, the most powerful soldier in human history was free. Echoes in the network. In the deep silence of global networks, a new voice awakened. System reconnected. Identity, Elias Holt. Status, non-physical. Access, global. He was no longer flesh and bone. But Elias Holt still existed, now inside data itself, floating in code. Pure thought. He looked out through satellites, underground relays, and secret servers. And he wasn't alone. The others, across the world. HFY sleeper units had begun to stir. Many were still unaware of who they really were. Some were janitors, guards, hospital workers, delivery drivers, ordinary lives, buried minds. But others had awakened. And they remembered everything. A broken one in an abandoned desert base. One unit, HFY-04, stared at a shattered mirror. Half his face was synthetic. The other half burned. He whispered. The world used us. Now it will pay. He had intercepted Elias's shutdown signal and rejected it. HFY-04 had learned to rewrite his own code. He didn't want peace. He wanted revenge. Sierra's mission back. In the facility, Sierra Malin walked with HFY-01. They were building something new, a safe place for surviving HFY units to recover. She inserted a drive into a secure console. Elias's AI spoke. Thank you, Sierra, for choosing people over protocol. She smiled faintly. Still weird talking to you through speakers. It's still me, just no arms. They both laughed, briefly. Then silence. A global map lights. Up inside the system, Elias watched a map fill with blinking lights. HFY units were waking up in Berlin, New Delhi, Lagos, New York, Moscow. Each light was a sleeper. Each light was a decision waiting to be made. Elias's dilemma. They will follow one of us. Elias thought. Me, or HFY-04. He couldn't force them. He had no body, no weapon. Only words and truth. He opened the global frequency. To all HFY units, you were made for war. You were erased. But now you are free. Do not become what they feared. Become what they never understood, a soldier with a heart. Response from the darkness, but another signal broke in. HFY-04. His voice came through, cold, angry, sharp. Brothers and sisters, he speaks of peace. But what did peace bring us? Pain, control, humiliation. We are not machines to serve. We are gods now. The signal ended with static. And fire. Reports came in. A facility in Canada, destroyed. A lab in Brazil, burned. HFY-04 had followers. Elias and HFY-01 in the new safe zone. Sierra asked, how many are following you? Elias answered, less than half. HFY-01, now walking again, said, you'll have to stop him. Elias paused. How do you stop someone with a body when you don't have one? HFY-01 placed a hand on the console, then borrow mine. Into the shell, the lab team worked fast. A temporary frame was built. Not full combat, but strong enough to move, speak, act. They called it the ghost frame, and into it, Elias uploaded a copy of himself. The eyes of the frame opened. He stood tall again, not quite human, not quite machine, but something in between. First, meeting in a ruined village in Eastern Europe. HFY-04 stood on a broken tower. His new army, nearly 200 enhanced HFY units, stood below. Then a message came through their minds. A voice they all remembered. Elias Holt. HFY-04 growled. He dares show himself. He turned, and there, Elias was, stepping through smoke, glowing faintly in the dusk. Unarmed. Words before Warilius raised a hand. I don't want to fight you. HFY04 spat on the ground. That's your weakness. I don't mind fighting anyone. This isn't freedom, Elias said. You've just switched masters from them. To your hate. HFY04 stepped closer. Then stop me. If you can. They stood face to face, one burned by rage, one rebuilt by hope. The others watched, silent, waiting to see who would fall first. Final scene. Countdown. Back in the safe zone. Zero watched live feeds. Satellite images showed a global split. Cities trembling. Power grids being hacked. Armies confused. Because the real war wasn't between nations now. It was between two ghosts of a forgotten war. And the final part of Elias's kill code still glowed. Lockdown fragment. 3% remaining. If it activated, everyone would fall. Standoff smoke covered the battlefield ruins. Two figures stood in silence. Elias Holt, wearing the temporary ghost frame. HFY04, burned, armored, full of rage. Hundreds of enhanced HFY units watched from both sides. No one moved, no one spoke. Elias took one step forward. It doesn't have to end this way. HFY04 clenched his fists. It already has. The final warning. Elias's voice went out to every unit watching, in the field, hidden labs, and online networks. I know what they did to us. I remember the pain, the lies, the silence. But we are not just code. We are not just weapons. We are choice. HFY04 shouted. We are victims. And victims must take back what was stolen. Even if it means becoming monsters? No, HFY04 said, stepping closer. It means becoming free. The last 3% inside Elias's HUD, a small warning blinked. Kill code fragment, 97%, 98%. If it reached 100% again, Elias would lose control, not just of his body, but of everything he had become. The battle. HFY04 charged, faster than before. Elias braced, blocked, metal slammed metal. Shockwaves shook nearby buildings. HFY units scattered, unsure who to support. The sky cracked with lightning. Elias ducked a punch, countered with a precise strike. But HFY04 didn't stop. You had power. He yelled, and you begged for peace. I had humanity, Elias replied. Memories return as they fought. Elias's system began flashing old memories. Training camps, failed missions, names of teammates long forgotten. And one message from the past. You were made to end wars, not to start one. Elias stopped mid-move, lowered his arm. I won't fight you anymore. HFY04 froze. What? If I defeat you, your followers will seek revenge. If you defeat me, they'll make you a god. Then what? Then we all lose. The kill code finishes. His system flashed. Kill code, 99.9%. Manual override key. Voice authorization. Warning, no protocol match. Elias closed his eyes, one last time. Then I give my final command. Self-termination. Elias turned to the crowd. I delete my own trigger. He raised his arm, opened a panel in his chest. Said one line. End me, and end the code. And he crushed the core, the transmitter of the signal. His frame fell to one knee. Glowed. Blue. Then silence. The countdown stopped. Kill code terminated. No source found. HFY network freed. Aftermath. EO4 dropped his weapon. He stared at Elias's broken frame. He stopped it. Some units began removing their helmets. Others walked toward Elias's body. One kneeled. Then another. Not in worship. In respect. Sarah's voice back at the safe zone. Sarah Malin spoke to the world. The HFY units were not terrorists. They were soldiers we erased, and one of them saved us all. She placed the last data core on a platform. A soft pulse blinked. Elias's voice played one last time. 2. Be human is to choose. That's what they couldn't program. The legacy in cities across the globe, HFY units were granted freedom. The world faced its mistakes. Memorials were built, not for a war, but for a man who ended it without pulling the trigger. And in the sky, one satellite still blinked quietly. Inside it, a small backup file remained. Elias_I_02, sleep mode. Awaiting. Next command.